Thanks for tuning in to watch The Ordinary Filmmaker. It's Monday, January the 7th, 2022, and this is a truly exciting video. We're getting the announcement of the Canon R5 in just over a day now, and we've already, in this video, we've got leaked specifications directly from Canon of what the specifications are for the Canon EOS R5. Now, on Wednesday, we get Canon's official announcement along with RF lenses, new cinema bodies, and a firmware update for the C70. But let's take a look at the Canon EOS R5c. It's supposed to be a mirrorless version, a video-centric version of the R5. And in that, we do get a 45 megapixel full-frame image sensor, and it still has the ability to shoot at 20 frames per second. So all the stills capabilities are the same, and the autofocus system, the update that we got in the R5, vehicles, face, head detection, all that wonderful stuff, bird eye detection, it's available in the R5c, but you're not here for the stills capabilities, are you? Pausing for dramatic effect. I was wrong. It doesn't have the same video specs and resolutions as the R5. Canon's reached a little higher. The Canon R5c will be able to do 8K at up to 60 frames per second. Unlimited recording, no overheating. It has a fan inside, and with that fan on, you're going to be able to deliver 8K at up to 60 frames per second. 8K at 60 frames per second, unlimited recording. That's just truly exciting. And when I was talking about price before, based on the rumored specs, I didn't see it being much more expensive than the R5, but with 8K 60, well, this gives Canon the ability to push the price of this up even further. And what other camera does 8K 60? Well, that's the Nikon Z9, and it sells for $54.99, or essentially $5,500. So that's really a big deal. 8K 60, it also talks about being able to deliver HDMI 8K RAW, and it can do 8K HDR recording, that's PQ, HLG, and again, that internal cooling fan enables unlimited recording at 8K 60, not just 8K 30 and the other frame rates, but 8K 60. And in terms of bandwidth, well, we're looking at about 2,900 megabits per second, and that's in the most detailed mode. There are other modes that run it down in different video compression that allows it to record at about 2,000 megabits per second. That's really, really exciting. I haven't had a chance to memorize all these, so let me run through these pretty quickly for you. Now, as far as the design of the camera, it's very similar to the EOS R5, although it does look a little bit heftier, but you really kind of have to look at it for a while to really notice the differences. And I do apologize, this image isn't the greatest, but this is the only leaked image that we have. Now, the Digic 10 processor, in terms of doing 8K, can also do 2K and 4K oversampling, so that's really good news as well. And again, we got the same autofocus system. There's no mention as to whether it can, the dynamic range has improved in any way whatsoever. Other specifications, XF AVC and MP4 codecs for 10-bit 422 video, and it doesn't mention anything about Apple ProRes or anything else, although it does say this. Are you ready? 4K at 120 frames per second, 10-bit 422. So that's really, really nice as well. Simultaneous audio recording enabled with HFR, wide variety of recording formats, although we don't have all of them. It does have Canon Log 3, no mention of Canon Log 1 or 2. And it also has enhanced image stabilization. But outside of that, we don't have any more specifications. It doesn't mean the camera isn't capable of more. It's the leaked information that we had got cut off at the bottom. But already, 8K 60 frames per second. And that's just a staggering amount of detail. That's 2,570 megabits per second. I said it was around 2,900 a little while ago, but now I'm looking at the other frame and I can see that it's 2,570 megabits per second. That's pretty significant. And it sorts, also at that 8K 60 unlimited recording, we are talking about cinema raw light. So that's one thing the rumors also got right. 8K 60 unlimited recording, no record limits, cinema raw light. Really, really impressive. And as far as how much can you get on a single CFexpress card? Well, it really depends on the size of the card and also what video encoding you have. Now, along the side here, I'm going to be flashing up different recording formats and how much time you can expect to get on a CFexpress card. But this is really, really exciting. I was expecting it wasn't going to punch much above 8K 30, although I did think that there is a chance that Canon might bring out 8K 60 now that Nikon's come out with their camera, the Z9, and this makes me really wonder about the price a little bit here. And I'm curious to know what you think. Now at 8K 30 frames per second, the same frame rates and resolutions as The R5, yeah, plus $300. But not only can it do 8K 60, it's got full frame modes, it's got Super 35 modes, and it's got Super 16 modes. That's right. So this is more video centric, and it's got more than the R5 does. Enough that it's going to pull a lot of people, such as myself or even the deaf director, over. Well, maybe not me right now, because I want to see what the R1 does, because I can really only afford to purchase one camera, but this one has me so much more excited to be able to shoot slow motion in 8K. I mean, just a year ago, the idea of shooting 8K was absolutely ridiculous. 60 frames per second. Okay, so in terms of price, the Nikon Z9 aims at $5,500. So I see that the Canon EOS R5c could potentially go as high as $5,500. So I don't know what the price is going to be. That hasn't been leaked yet. We might know the price before Wednesday, but now I'm a little unsure of the pricing. But I do think that my initial estimate of about $300 more than the R5 is a little bit too low. I think it's a little bit too low with these specifications. I think it could push as high as $5,500. And several of you said, Simon, it's definitely going to be about $5,000. But we didn't know about 8K 60 frames per second at that point. I'm just really, really staggered here. I'm just going to switch over to Canon Rumors again, take a look at some of the specifications. I couldn't possibly memorize these, but if we're shooting in 8K, as you've seen by what we're flashing up on the screen, there's raw LT, and that's where you can shoot at 2570 megabits per second, and that's of course at 60 frames in 8K. Raw R8 is down to 1980 megabits per second, and that's at 30 frames per second. And then of course we got Super 35, raw LT, raw R8, raw HQ, ranging from 1260 megabits per second all the way down to about 2090 megabits per second, depending on the frame rate. And of course it keeps going on. We've got Super 16 at raw LT, raw R8, raw HQ. And if you have a CFexpress card and it's 512 gigs, you can get 24 minutes of 8K 60 frames per second. It's not bad, really, when you think about it. I remember when I had the non-linear version of the video toaster, the Toaster 4000, back 20, 30 years ago. Well, who's kidding? 30 years ago. You were lucky to get 9 minutes per hard drive, and that was only using standard definition. So to be able to get 24 minutes on a 512, put in a 2 terabyte, and that gives you, well, pretty much just shy of 2 hours of record time on a single CFexpress card. Of course, if you hook up a Ninja 5, now you can start to put in larger SSDs, but I wouldn't be surprised if we see a 4 terabyte CFexpress card coming out relatively soon. We've seen the writing on the wall on Angelbird's website. They do have an option for 4 terabyte, and they say sold out, coming soon. Now, I'm not aware that they've been on the market. My understanding of the reason why 4 terabytes aren't out there, the reason why we only see 2 terabytes, is because of the support internally for these larger drives. It needs something other than FAT32. You need something like a GUID partition table or something else to be able to support these larger cards. So once camera companies start supporting these larger formats, then we'll probably start to see larger CFexpress cards of 4 terabytes, maybe even 6, maybe even 8 terabytes. Just staggering how much we can put in. But using a 512 gigabyte card, Canon Cinema Raw Lite, you're looking at 24 minutes at 2570, and if you're down to around 1290, that's 50 minutes, and 1980 megabits per second, you're at 32 minutes. So you're definitely not going to get a lot on a 512 gig card. Things are going to feel a little bit tight and constrained, so I'd highly recommend getting a 1 or 2 terabyte Angelbird CFexpress card, and that's going to really give you plenty of record time. And that way you don't have to shoot with an external recorder, because this camera pretty much eliminates the need for an external recorder, with the exception of a few situations. Obviously, you can get larger sized SSDs right now that you can put in the Atomos Ninja 5 and 5 Plus. But there's a few other things too that make having a Ninja 5 nice. For example, Apple ProRes and a few other video codecs. Now, we don't know if the R5c currently supports these video codecs, because some of these specifications have been cut off, and we need to really wait until announcement day to get the full specs on what this camera is. But it's shaping up to be a truly amazing camera. Are you interested in this camera? Is it kind of blowing you away? What do you think of the price is going to be? Wow, the Nikon Z9 impressed me with 8K 60 frames per second in a firmware update. It doesn't support it right now, it's just 8K 30. And the R5c, we'll have to see when they're going to start shipping this, but 8K, 60 frames per second. I love competition. And be able to see the competition between these two giants in photography and videography, Canon and Nikon, this is really exciting. And I'm sorry if I'm a little bit too excited here, but I just love seeing camera companies pushing the technology to where we have something truly, truly exciting. And I had another video planned to come out today. It's already recorded. I'll probably push it out at midnight or maybe tomorrow, depending on how well this video does. But right now, I know that all you're thinking about is the R5c and its impact on the market. It's already starting to make the Sony Alpha 1 look a little bit old, isn't it? Now, one thing I'm wondering, does it support variable frame rates? The specifications weren't really clear on that. It looked like it could possibly support variable frame rates, and if that's the case, stop the FOMO. Do you have fear of missing out? I know you'll be watching the 7 a.m. broadcast. So here's what's going on Wednesday morning. I'm taking the day off. I'm going to be up early around 6:30 so I can catch the show as soon as it comes on. Then I'm going to quickly put out a video, confirm everything, and then once that video comes out, I'm going to do a live stream and answer any of your questions concerning the Canon EOS R5c, the R5, and what this means for us as videographers and filmmakers, and also as photographers. Because now it's looking like the R5 is definitely the stills-centric version of the R5 family, and of course we still have yet to see a high megapixel version of the R5, and they haven't come out with an Astro version yet too, so I think there's definitely room to grow the R5 as Canon did with the 5D, so super exciting. And by the way, if you're still here and you're super excited about this as well, do me a favor, go ahead and like and subscribe. Your subscribes, I take them as a virtual pat on the back, and it encourages me to produce more of these videos, especially when sometimes I have to get up at midnight to do them. But thanks so much for watching. We'll see you again soon.